quite some time ago now, as you guys know, I received and unboxed my first pair of the Nyjah 32s, and in that video I explained that I would, after a month or so, basically do a full in-depth review of what I think about the shoes. Well, in the end I never really did that. I ended up doing a very short and small review about what they felt like after a 3-hour skate session. But hey, seeing as I've just picked up another pair of the Nyjah 32s, I decided that it would actually be a good opportunity for me to do a full in-depth review of what I think about these shoes. As you guys know, before the 32s I used to skate the Nyjah 31s, and I had a total of 3 pairs. So my new pair of Nyjah 32s is going to make this my 5th pair of Nyjah shoes and my 2nd pair of the 32s. So I have a pretty good idea on how the Nyjah shoes feel and how both shoes kind of feel. So I thought it would be quite cool to also do a small comparison as well as the full in-depth review about Nyjah Huston's skate shoes. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay, so before I get into the full in-depth review and the comparison between the Nyjah 1s and the Nyjah 2s, I thought it would be a cool and good idea to explain the materials that Nike use and to explain exactly how Nike are able to build a shoe like this. So the Nyjah 2s is quite like the Nyjah 1 in the way it's built. You have the rubber-like material that surrounds the entire shoe, as well as going a bit up the shoe and quite high up to the laces. They have this new system called a ghillie lace system, which basically means when you tie your shoelaces, all the laces get pulled at the same time. Basically just makes your life a little bit easier. You have this mesh-like material for breathability and a bit of stretch, so your shoes aren't too tight on the foot if you're someone that doesn't like that. Then you have this rubber-like material that goes from thick to thin as you go down the shoe, and it has all these engravings at the bottom which Nike claim they stretch and unstretch, basically to make your braking period a lot faster and also to just make the shoe last a lot longer. Of course, you have the Nyjah 2s written here with the Roman numerals and his name up top. And as for the insole, it's just the classic Nike SB insole, so nothing special there. And then for the heel part, you have this cotton-like material. It's quite thick, but it is also soft at the same time. So yeah, overall I really like the design of this shoe, but I'll get a bit more into that later when I do the in-depth review. So yeah, let's get into that. After skating the Nyjah 2s for quite some time, I have to say that something I enjoyed the most about these shoes was the braking time. For me, after 15-20 minutes of taking these shoes out of the box, they just skated like as if I was skating them for a month. These shoes breaking really fast, and I think it's to do with the way the insole is created and how Nike is able to make these little engravings stretch and unstretch. As well as the braking time, I found that the mesh part of the shoe, not only did it allow my foot to breathe a bit more, which made long skate sessions a lot more enjoyable and my foot didn't overheat, but I feel like that mesh is able to make the shoe quite a bit more stretchy, which had an effect on the braking time. Now, for someone that has quite a thin foot, and for me, I like tight shoes as I feel like you have more board feel. This mesh, even though it has good things about it, like the braking time was a lot faster and the breathability on the foot was quite nice, I have to say, because it is a slightly stretchy material, this shoe will feel a bit looser on your foot. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind when getting these shoes. When it comes to impact for the heel part, this thick like rub material does protect your heel a lot from heel bruise. However, the lower down the shoe you go, you notice it gets quite a lot thinner. And I have to say that landing primo while jumping down a set of stairs, yeah, you can get quite a lot of bruise on the under part of your foot, which does suck. Alright, so in terms of board feel and how these shoes flick, due to that sole that gets slightly thinner the lower down you go, the way that I flick my kick flips and tray flips and all that, everything for me felt fine. And due to that braking period, I never really felt like I had to relearn a trick or move my feet to flick it in a different way, as really they just flick like any other shoe. When it comes to the material, this rubber-like material, it is grippy. However, when compared to a classic shoe with a gum sole, I would say the grip isn't as much. But for a shoe with this type of material, and it's the only shoe I've seen that uses this, it definitely works. So in terms of durability, I have to say that this rubber-like material, it's pretty tough. Now, even though I did manage to create a hole that went all the way into the insole, it was never enough to create a hole in my sock or anything like that. So the rubber-like material is definitely tough. Now when it comes to the bottom of the shoe, due to that thick layer at the lower part of the shoe, you're not really going to get any wear and tear. However, near the toes, it is definitely visible. Now I say it did hold up for quite some time, but when it gets to a certain point of wear, the process goes a lot faster, and I did need to use some shoe glue just to make the bottom of the shoe last a bit longer. When it comes to the mesh, I did ended up ripping a hole quite fast. However, I never ripped past the mesh. There's underneath, which is part of the tongue, you have this cotton-like material which never really got touched and it never really got through. I did, however, on my flicking shoe, I just put some shoe glue there just as a precaution. But as you can see on my right one, I never got past that cotton material, so it wasn't really that necessary. For the laces, I was very surprised and kind of confused in terms of the durability of the laces, as the lower part, which is more exposed, I never ripped through these, which for me was quite amazing. However, the bit where the lace is protected, I somehow managed to rip. I would say they did rip quite fast, maybe within 2 or 3 sessions. Now, despite that rubber material being 360 around the shoe, there is this cotton-like material which is soft and thick at the same time. However, I am someone that enjoys heel flips, and I did spend quite a lot of time doing those tricks, and I did manage to rip quite a lot of it, which over time does make your shoe feel a bit loose on the foot. So yeah, in terms of durability, overall I think the shoe is just really good and is going to last you a very long time. So when comparing the Nyjah 2s to the 1s, essentially the shoe is exactly the same, except on the 2s you will get that mesh-like material and that gilly lace system. But yeah, when you look at the 1s, you again get that rubber-like material, however it goes more around the shoe and on top. The insoles are exactly the same, the bottom of the shoe is exactly the same. So yeah, overall, apart from that mesh-like material and the gilly lace system that you will get on the 2s, the shoes are the same. As you don't have a gilly lace system on the Nyjah 1s, there is absolutely no protection, meaning that I did rip through quite a few pairs of laces, which does get annoying after some time. But yeah, the durability is the exact same. I did, just like the Nyjah 2s, was able to create a hole, but I never got to be a point of putting holes in my socks. For the bottom part of the shoe, it wears down at the exact same speed as the Nyjah 2s, and as this rubber part is also all around your top part of your foot, it does make the shoe quite a lot stiffer, which makes the break-in period a little bit longer. But apart from that, they do still break in quite fast, and even though they did try to put holes in to make your foot breathe a bit more, when you compare it to the mesh material that is used on the Nyjah 2s, there is a lot less breathability on your foot when using the Nyjah 1s. Now, in terms of which shoes I prefer, as an everyday skate shoe and day-to-day shoe, I do prefer the look of the Nyjah 1s. I feel like they just look a bit nicer. But in terms of skating, I prefer the Nyjah 2s just because you get that breathability with that mesh-like material, and your laces do last a lot longer, as I have to admit, changing your laces out quite often does get a bit annoying. Is it worth spending a bit more money on the 2s? Well, if you're someone that doesn't mind changing your laces that much and you don't mind getting hot feet, then yeah, definitely get the Nyjah 1s. But if it does bother you to change your laces a lot and you don't like hot feet, then I definitely would say get the Nyjah 2s, just because of that breathability factor you get and the fact that you never really need to change your laces. Now, since as this is my 5th pair of Nyjah shoes and my 2nd pair of the Nyjah 2s, in my opinion, these are the best skate shoes out there. Of course, there's shoes that I've never tried before, but just having these shoes for so long, the thing for me really is the durability from that rubber material. And with the version 2s, that breathability on the foot is very nice. This shoe is the shoe for me. So yeah, that was the full in-depth review and also a comparison from the 2s to the 1s that I did say I was going to do quite some time ago. I don't normally do these videos, but if you like them anyway, I would really appreciate it if you gave this video a like. If you didn't know, I try to upload a video every week on a Wednesday. So yeah, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, I'll see you next week.